Welcome back to Bagel Crack. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This is a review for a game I recently got and I'm really enjoying so far. State of Decay 2 Jugernaut Edition. So, the basic premise of this game is you are in a zombie setting and you have to survive making a community. So there are a couple of features I want to talk about. Some that I really enjoy, some that I might not like as much. So, first, let's start off with the pros and the cons. So, pros. I got this game for free. It comes with free core game pass, so I got it for free. And it's really good for being free. So yeah, I don't know how much it is not free. I'll have to check and add that in about here-ish. But yeah, I got it for free, so that's pretty good value for money. And it's also very fun. I really enjoy playing this. The multiplayer is done very well, so better than most other games with multiplayer, and so I really enjoy that. Very well done, me playing this with my good friends. The community system, where you have different characters, that's really good. I want to talk about that now. Basically, you have like 4 different characters that you start with. So first you choose between 4 different pairs of characters, and they each have their different abilities. And then while you're playing, a character might get bitten by a zombie, and you might have to put him in the infirmary to rest, which slows down the infection. And then that lets you get to switch to another character who then goes to get the cure as another character. So that's pretty good. I like that. The skill system is also a good pro of the game. It's really good. Basically, the more you do something, like the more you do running, you improve your cardio, and then once your cardio is at 5 stars level, then you get to choose between 2 different specializations, which is 2 different they specialize in different things. Like one which helps you run faster, ones that help you run taking less stamina, and different sort of stuff like that. And that's very good, and I really enjoy that. So that's pretty good as well. And so, yeah, some cons of the game though. It's not necessarily that glitchy, but to start, it can be. It doesn't give, the tutorial is pretty good, but to start, there are a couple of parts where I'll get started. Like, for example, I'll be struggling, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, and it'll just say, get some more like this, or get some more materials for your base, or something that isn't very difficult, or it isn't very hard, sorry. It isn't very easy, sorry. Third time's the charm, there we go, we got it. And then I'll be struggling to figure out how, but then once I do, it's all fine, and that only takes, that doesn't take that long, so it isn't that bad. And then, another con is mission-wise. To start, you have a pretty good set story mission, but then after you do the first part, which is curing somebody, then you're kind of left to your own devices, you're just roaming around doing stuff. And it's just kind of all side quests, really. After you do the main first mission, then you have just a bunch of side quests to go over here, loot this building, make an outpost at this building. And then from there, eventually, once you do move to try increase, try get a new, more central base, because you start in the top right of the map. If you try to get a more central base, then you'll get, radio calls from other other settlements, which are oh yeah, we need help, our sheriff stole all our stuff, or something like that. And those are pretty good, but before you get to that central area and you're just in that top right, that is very, very boring and you don't have much to do there. So for any person considering buying this game, just try to get a central base relatively quickly. For zombie variants, it's pretty good. You have the normal ones. You have plague zombies, which are the ones that'll infect you, and the ones you have to cure. The other ones don't infect you. You have, I don't know what they're called. I call them fatsos. They're basically just fat zombies. Nothing much to them. You got ones that run, or they're supposed to be called ferals, but I call them ones that run, because they run. There's also crawlers, which crawl. There's also, well, I'm pretty sure that's it. There might be some more, because I'm not that far into the game. But yeah, character customization is great. So your character's appearance, like their physical means, you can't change. But with clothing, there's a massive area. There's massive like wardrobe for that, and you can choose loads of different stuff. Silly, serious, it's great. And while you're looting, you can actually loot new clothing options, which will just mean you can equip them. There's not an armor system, but the system where they have backpacks, which increases your inventory slot, and the gun system mixed in with the melee system is quite good. So you have your melee weapon, which is your main weapon. You have a main melee weapon. Then, if you're doing sneak attacks or a finishing move, you'll switch to your close quarters like knife. It's mostly a knife. And then, if you zoom, then it'll bring up a gun, and then you can push Y to switch between guns in the zoom mode. You can't use your secondary like melee, your like knife, for anything other than finishes, which does kind of annoy me, but that isn't that bad. And so there are a lot of things to like about this game. What I do like is the base building a lot. So you have one main base, which you can change between multiple areas. Like, for example, I went from the starter main base and I went all the way into the middle to get a new main base. And then you have areas like little slots where you build stuff, like a crafting like area, like a workshop, an infirmary, a sleeping area. Lots of good stuff like that. Another con is when you're claiming like main areas, you have to go around and explore areas around it. So, like, there might be a caravan park, or like a little trailer, or maybe a house nearby to where you're setting up your base. And that area, you might need to go there, clear it out of zombies, and then that'll count to 1 of 5. Except one thing that does kind of annoy me is it's very hard, because zombies can sometimes be really hard to find, especially in the dark. They're basically impossible. It's very difficult to do that, and then sometimes it'll say, okay, area cleared, you're all good, but then you'll go back and it'll say, sorry, one more area. That's a bit annoying like that. It took me a while to get my second base up and running, but once I did, it was all worth it. The outpost system is pretty good, so you can go around an outpost. You don't need to secure, but you usually go there and then claim them with an outpost slot. They're quite good like that. The ammo system is pretty good, because ammo, just like in a real zombie apocalypse, is pretty scarce, and you do have to look. So a lot of the time I find myself out of ammo on my pistol and having to like fight my way out with a melee weapon. And that is pretty good in all consideration. I really do like that system. One thing is, the graphics are pretty good for a free game like that. They're not, say, top of the line, but they are pretty good for what this game is, and I enjoy them. And to do with graphics is, you have a little flashlight which you can activate, which is really useful in every situation you go in, especially when you're going in houses, because they don't have lights, because the power's cut, obviously. So the flashlight, the problem with that is it's too realistic. It sounds stupid, but it genuinely is too realistic, because if you know how when you get a flashlight, you hold it back, you hold it back away from what you're trying to shine on, it covers it more, like there's more light, because it spreads more, obviously. But when you move it closer, it'll just make one tiny little circle of light, yeah? Well, that happens in this game. So a lot of the time, I find myself looting in a house, with my flashlight on, and I won't be able to see anything because I'll be next to a wall, like looting a books. Then I'll hear a groan and turn around. My flashlight will suddenly spread out to show like a horde of zombies. And that can be a bit annoying, but that does add to it. Like, you're searching and you got to do it quick, because otherwise you don't know what's behind you. And you could consider that a con or a pro, depending on how you like it. But I consider it both, because it can either be extremely annoying, but also really realistic and really cool. So then let me think of other points. The other people system is pretty neat. Like, if somebody needs help, they'll call out a mysterious signal, and if you go there, they can help. It doesn't really have a story besides just doing whatever you want and doing all the side quests. One system I really like is there is a bounty hunter, a bounty guy, which will give you like other guns. Like he'll be like, oh, I'll give you this gun if you do this. So for example, I got a new pistol by killing 14 zombies with a pistol, and those things there could be more challenging ones, easier ones, and yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is the car system. Love it. The car system is better than most of the games I've played. Once you go around, so if you ram into stuff, obviously your car will get damaged, not to the point where you can't drive it, because I haven't gotten there yet. But then at some point, if your car gets damaged, you'll need to use a toolkit, which you can find, to repair it. And then you have a fuel system, and once your fuel goes down, you need to find a gas can to refuel it. And just the little things like that are good, as well as if zombies jump onto your doors. I don't know what it is on keyboard, because I'm playing keyboard, I'm playing on Xbox, but if you spam like a certain button, it will like, your character will like push and close the door repeatedly to knock the zombie off. And that's good, I really like that system. It's just the little things that matter, you know? And the trunk is really good. So basically you have a bag of the car that you open, you can put stuff in, which is really useful because you take like you find these massive backpacks with like cases of chemicals, which are really big, make you lose stamina very quickly, and you can't really run with them. And you need them to take back to your base to get more materials for your base. So when you do that, you take one, and then you can go put it in the back of your car and drive your car with it in the back, and that's really useful. And I really like how they designed that in, and it's so good. And then like different cars have different abilities. Like a car I got recently has a siren on it, so I can attract zombies when I need with a siren. Another car is a smaller one, looks better, and is way quicker, but because it's a smaller car, the back doesn't have as much space. Another thing I want to talk about is the gun system. Something that does annoy me a bit is that you get guns. At the beginning, you start off with one pistol, just a regular pistol, and then once you find a gun, it's like, oh my gosh, I found a new gun, this is so good. But then after a while, you start finding guns very often, and it becomes a bit of a hassle, just having to test them out each time because you found a new gun. And just that is a bit annoying at some points, but that's fine. But I don't really mind, because it does mean you can get new guns quickly. The weapon system's really good. Basically, you have one main attack for your melee weapon, and you can just hit that, and then eventually, if you knock them on the floor, you can land a finishing move. Or if you sneak up behind them, you can land a finishing move. I don't use the sneak system because I think it's pointless, because it's just as easy to run in with like blazing guns than just sneaking. It's just as easy and just as it loses just as much. But without further ado, I'm gonna end this video with a minute maybe of gameplay.
Hey guys, I found a few things while I was out.
Better than nothing. I can barely lift this. This looks like a waste of time. If that ride still works, I'll be pretty damn stoked. Better not have to run carrying all this. Well, that's the last of them.